What is going on, guys? DBG here, and today is another one of these, the truth about NBA 2k23 MyTEAM lads. So I have made one of these videos quite a while, and obviously it's been about 2 months, just over 2 months since the game has come out. And I made one of these videos after 1 month, after 1 week. And I think it's good to get my opinions across about the game mode. The last 2 times I spent 35 and 40 minutes. I'm not going to spend 35 and 40 minutes or 40 minutes on this. I'm going to probably... It all depends on how much that I rant about the game. But... I have very mixed feelings on my team right now. I do. And for me... It's hard to have fun because the game, to an extent, is less arcadey, but also more arcadey. First of all, this is not a locker code. This is not a locker code. I don't know why they keep calling it that, but it doesn't matter. That is such a minuscule point. Team of the week. So obviously, by looking at team of the week being Ja, Jordan, McDaniel, Giannis, and Shaq, means the vast majority of people that play this game play only on offline. Like, with this being team of the week, it means that vast majority of players are offline. One thing that we have yet to get this year is a locker code player. We have yet to type in a locker code for a player and just get them. At this stage last year, we had Chris Duarte. I don't think we've had many others. I'm not going to lie. I don't think at this time we had too many other just random locker code players. I'm trying to think of who we might have gotten. Like, I'm guessing we had a couple of ball drops, but we didn't have any other than Chris Duarte, where we had like a no strings attached, just getting the card. And looking at these, we had Duarte. That might have been it. That really might have been it. We just had like this, just a guaranteed card, specific card. Amy Jalen Brunson a reward? No. It was Duarte, that was it. That's kind of mad, isn't it? That is kind of mad. It was just literally Chris Duarte, Sapphire. So we haven't got any of them this year. We only got one this time last year. Look, I think things will come later on in the year. And for me, I have a little bit of an issue with a lot of things. Everyone's like, oh, we're going to be getting like locker codes for players later in the year. Yeah, we know. We're going to be getting all these like spotlight grinds and stuff later in the year. We know. And for me, I'm always make the argument of, if we just accept that everything's coming later on in the year, my team becomes what it does right now, where there is no point playing this game for 8 months. Like, I understand, like, if you enjoy playing the game mode more at this time and you want to just play it to have fun, sure. But if your goal is to build the best team possible, which a lot of people do state in my team, and you're coming into this, and that is what your goal is, there is actually no point, unless you want to spend big money or spend all your time playing this game, touching this game for 8 months with the way it's currently constructed. And that's kind of my biggest takeaway with my team this year, is that for me, it's really, really difficult to just go in and use your favorite players because of green or miss. I don't mind green or miss as a concept, as an idea. I don't in certain game mode, in certain competitive game modes. Actually, it's a really good idea. And I think there needs to be, the problem with 2K right now, and I'm talking about 2K23, the game, is that the gap between online versus and semi-pro and pro is so big. I'm guarantee I'm not hitting green windows. I'm shooting on semi-pro here. And my game froze. I greened too much that my game froze. That's the first time that's happened to me this year. And why I clicked there. That's the first time my game has ever froze. But for me, there's like such a big gap between semi-pro or pro and all-star or online versus, that like if they lower the difficulty in certain game modes to pro, every single shot goes in. So I think in a competitive setting, green or miss is good. And I think I still stand by the fact that Unlimited needs to be split, or a game mode like Unlimited. There needs to be a 5v5 casual game mode. There needs to be, where you can use whatever players you want. There needs to be that and a competitive mode. And I think the longer they try to even bring unlimited, split unlimited between, with SBMM, when I'm pretty sure there's, maybe they got rid of it, but there clearly is SBMM and unlimited. I don't even mind it that much because of points for losses. I'd like if we could see our skill rank, that would be cool, but it's better than last year. But there needs to be some sort of a mode here that is on pro difficulty, or not even pro difficulty. Like, it's not going to happen this year because of the way the game is programmed, but look into NBA 2K24. They need to keep their shooting sliders literally go when you are -1 slide. I'm not sure what the exact slider is, but there is a 1 slider and 1 minus slider where it goes from green or miss or not. There's literally a cutoff point in their sliders where it's green or miss. It's not like a gradual one being like, oh, this is easy, it gets progressively harder. There is literally a cutoff point where it's green or missing or not green or miss. And that is kind of an issue where I think 2K20 without the straight arm is probably the best shooting we've had. Like the straight arm, which is like the full bar where you can shoot perfectly and you're still going to miss. That was an issue in 20. It's almost a non-issue this year. I think that there needs to be some sort of green or miss mechanic in competitive play because it makes perfect sense. But in terms of just casual play, there needs to be something for casual play. Because right now, I think Clutch Time Online is one of the most miserable game experiences I've ever had. Because for me, the game isn't built to be played in quick settings. Because the only way because you can't 3-hunt in this game. Which is like fine. Which is fine. Like the way the game is programmed, it is to get rid of the quote unquote cheese. It is obviously mashing's the thing. I'll touch on that later. But in terms of the cheese, the over dribbling, the 3-hunting, the getting people sucked into screens, the just shooting threes all the time, the shooting from anywhere. The game is built to stop all that cheese. Like this is the way the game is built to be played like it's real basketball. If two guys are playing against each other and they're all just running plays, this is a really good game. The issue is that the drawback of building a game where you can't really hunt threes is that you have a contest system that doesn't work particularly well in the paint. And the most effective way is to just turbo to the basket and try dunk on people. Or just start mashing. Like that is the most effective way to play. Even though in a vacuum, when two guys are trying to play like setup plays and run the game of basketball, it actually works quite well. Like if you slow the tempo down, you play this game at a slow pace, and two guys are doing that. This game works pretty well. It's just an issue of people having it so ingrained in them to play fast, and the only effective way to play fast is literally by just running at the basket. It's the only effective way of playing fast. And that's my issue with Clutch Time, is that because it's only 14 seconds on a shot clock, you don't have time setting up. You don't have time to get past the halfway line and dump the ball into the post and do a post move. 14 seconds, this game is not made for a small court 14-second shot clock. It is just not 2K23. And this game mode is miserable, and don't get me started on Triple Threat Online. Potentially, this not as bad as Clutch Time, but it's miserable as well. An arcadey street ball game mode with a green or miss game mechanic. Like, it's taken what was a fun mode and just kind of ruined it. It kind of ruined it. And there's a reason why you can't find games in either of these modes past midnight in Europe. You can find unlimited games normally till about 1, 2 a.m., but you cannot find a Clutch Time or a Triple Threat Online game after midnight, which is why I'm recording this video instead of playing the game, because I couldn't find a game. I couldn't find a game for like 15 minutes in Clutch Time. I wasn't going to sit through an unlimited game, so I'm going to record this video here. Because again, I just realized I didn't do one for my 2 months, and it's just after it. MyTEAM Limited is one of the game modes that has had the most potential, and since 2K21 has been neglected. Every week is the same requirements. 1 amethyst, all rubies or lower. Or 1 X tier, all X tier and lower. When MyTEAM Limited started as game mode, first of all, I like the reward system. I like that you get a reward for every ring you get. And I like the fact that there's an option pack of takeover cards or takeoff cards. But as the year goes on, considering the fact that they say with unique lineup creation rules every weekend, it's not unique. It's not unique. Look, I don't play this game mode, so I'm not strongly against the requirements, but for the people that do like MyTEAM Limited, I loved MyTEAM Limited at the start when it first came out. I thought it was a breath of fresh air. For the first while in NBA 2k21, I thought it was a breath of fresh air. When it was like LeBron James week, use LeBron James teammates, or use college superstars, or you could use like guys with no clamps, like defensive players. Like, it was an actual like variety game mode. And I thought MyTEAM Limited was the best mode at one stage in NBA 2k21, and I wished it was a whole week. I may not touch this mode for the rest of the year. Like, I'm kind of done with the mode because at least one weekend a season, I'm not going to be at home to play. So I'm not going to... The only reward that I actually really want is the 11 tote card, or is the option pack, and I'm not going to get it. So for me, there's no point. But I would still rather see this game mode get better for the people that do really like it. Draft has become the most irrelevant mode ever. It has become the most irrelevant mode ever because the prizes... I still have Darren Williams on my board. The prizes have become the Tuesday card. The Tuesday Takeover card, which is like an hour grind. It's longer to go through a draft board than it is to get the Tuesday Takeover card. Unlimited, cool. I'm still happy with it. Still got the same opinions. Again, like, I'm 10 and 9. Like, a load of my losses using like Team Heart and Nuzlocke using bad squads. And I think 5 of them are me quitting on AFK. I'm like 10 and 4 this season, which again is it's not a great record. It's a respectable record. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the level of the game I play at. But XP is cool. XP is cool. They're giving us so much XP. Normally I would be against the whole the XP vanishes after a week, but like, look, I can say that as much as I want, but at the same time, these are so easy. They're so easy to get. And like, if you want Booker, you can have Booker. Like, I've just been lazy. I'm taking full responsibility for why I don't have Booker. I've just been lazy. XP works fine. And the fact that anyone's like, XP is too easy. 2K have made the decision to make the level 40 cards not quite as good as last year, but make the grind easier and more accessible. And I like that decision, because this right here has been the bane of my existence, the trophy case. And there are issues with the trophy cases, and one of the biggest issues is that a lot of people are like, oh, but like, the trophy cases have just replaced other game modes, where it's, instead of just getting a pink diamond for completing a game mode, you can now choose your pink diamond. On the surface, yes, but in reality, if you weren't around on the first week, if you weren't there for the first week of MyTEAM, so you didn't know about, and you only played TT offline, you're never getting one of these. If you're an offline player and you weren't around for the first week for the token market and you completed all of TT offline, you're legitimately not going to get a trophy case card. And again, these are like hypothetical situations, but the way the game is this year is that it's kind of like, it's an all or nothing in terms of trophy case. Like, if you don't want to do a trophy case, grinding, or like, if you don't want to finish a mode, grinding the mode is pretty much pointless. If you're not going to finish a mode, it's pretty much pointless. If you are going to finish a mode, good. And the game has been extremely rewarding to those that really want to grind. And I cannot stress that enough. If you want to play the crap out of this game, it would be extremely rewarding. And I actually think that if this concept had been in like a pandemic year, like a 2K21, or even early 2K22, where a lot of us were trapped inside, I think that this could have been a really good concept. I think that it was a great idea executed not perfectly. The biggest issue with the trophy case is there are no instructions. Nobody knows what is where. Like, you're seeing all these here. Nobody knows what is where. And you might be saying, oh, there's YouTube tutorials. A person should not need to go to YouTube tutorials, because the vast majority of new players that come into this game aren't going to be watching YouTube. They're not going to see that. As well as that, though, for example, if you want to do the Lakers, you have to beat the Lakers in domination. So getting a centerpiece isn't enough. You also need to have the tokens, 160 tokens. I was like 170 tokens. So instead of, for example, the argument of say, oh, you need to complete a mode, you get a trophy case card. The reality is you need to complete a mode, complete the team in domination, depending on where they are. If it's the Lakers, you need to win a lot of domination games. You need to win 2 by 5. You need to win 11 games to get to the Lakers. Because they're in the Warriors division. So you need to win 11 domination games, essentially. You need to lock in 170 tokens. You need to get the centerpiece. And you need to know what the hell the rest of these are from and get all of them. Like, it's not that simple. It's simple for us. It's not that simple. But the trophy case concept is and I hate criticizing trophy cases too much because I feel like we've all have such a negative opinion of this. I think that type of an idea is I don't think it was made. Like, there are some ideas, like, for example, making Jack Harlow and thing offline and then online again. Like, that is an idea that I will look at and be like, I don't understand how they came to this, how that this conclusion was came to for the greater good of the game. Like, I will sit there and be like, I'm oblivious to how this is seen as a good idea. I understand everything, every reason for the trophy case. I think that long-term grinds don't belong in 2022. I think that in an era of TikTok, in an era of short-form content, in an era where a lot of people's attention spans are getting shorter, and it's not only kids, but teens, guys in their early 20s, attention spans are getting shorter. And with shorter attention spans, I don't think putting all their eggs in a long-form grind is the right idea. I also hope that it's looked more as something that could have went right and some sort of an adapted version of this comes into 2k24 and that it's not completely scrapped. I think this idea adapted with more kind of smaller grinds and where it doesn't take over the entire mode and it's a lot more clear and concise what the instructions are could be a net positive for the mode. I just don't think it is this year. In terms of rewards, the moments cards have been good. I don't like that there's one a week. Like, look, Embiid's great. Embiid's great. Let's not talk about that as it's a negative. But there is also that other issue when it comes to moments cards. And the issue is that because moments cards are only going to be released on a Monday, it looks like moments cards are only being released on a Monday. The only games that matter are on a weekend. And like, I'm like looking back with nostalgia. But I just remember for years when a player would have a big game, being excited to see if they'd get a moments card the next day in 2K. When Westbrook had his 20-20-20 game, when Harden had a 60-point triple-double, they got cards the next day in 2K. When Yogi Ferrell came from nowhere and started hooping, in a similar situation than if Matt Ryan had knocked in that three. When Andre Ingram, which was a crazy story, when he played his first NBA game, these guys got kind of moments cards, and it just became a cool concept. However, with the pandemic, I think the dev team have realized that they can still get very similar engagement without incorporating it, the real NBA. But I do think that with the NBA being there, it's one of the easiest ways to incorporate consistent content. And don't get me started on this crap. Don't get me freaking started on this crap. Like, this is getting a layup and scoring the layup. No, actually, it's harder to do. Oh no, this is what it basically is, because they did the right thing. This is like, you're down by 2 points. You shoot a step back 3-point fade away in someone's face, nail it to go up by 1. Everything's perfect. Everyone's happy. The whole crowd are buzzing. You're at home. Everyone's buzzing. That's what it was. The mining community was buzzing about getting these cards. We had a duo with Dennis Smith Jr. We all knew maybe there was going to be a duo with Tyler Hero at some stage because there wasn't one with his Emerald. We were all buzzing. And then directly after doing something that was incredibly good, that everyone was happy about, Well, not everyone. Anyone that was... And there were a lot of people unhappy that they were in the game at all, but nobody was unhappy specifically because they could be used online. For the people that were unhappy that were in the game at all, this change, making them offline only, they're still unhappy. But for those that were happy that you could use them online, it's the equivalent of making that 3-point shot and then directly afterwards cursing out the ref, getting double teed, giving your opponent 2 technical free throws, and then making both of them and winning the game. Directly after you've done something incredibly good, undoing all of it in an instant. And that is what has happened with this. It was a... Celebrity cards are a good thing for the mode, in my opinion, or an awful thing. If you want to argue these are the worst thing for the mode, we need to stick to NBA players. Okay, cool. Cool. That's an argument to be made. And but I don't think anyone's going to say... I don't think there's a single person other than the people that made the decision that think the most beneficial situation is to have these cards as offline only cards after being online only for 3 days. I don't think, other than the decision makers, that anyone else is going to come to that conclusion. Again, I will be wrong. I will admit if I'm wrong. Guys, in the comment section, if you think that this is the best course of action, because again, I'm not always going to be right. I'm just giving my opinion on a game. If you guys think this is the best course of action, please let me know. Because I'm struggling to take a step back and look at I'm taking a step back and looking at things from other perspectives, and I can't see any scenario where this is the best outcome. And not only where this is the best outcome, where this isn't potentially the worst outcome possible. I think not putting celebrity cards in the game is better in terms of, again, is it better to have loved and lost than not loved at all? Now that's kind of where the question is. Is it better to have had and lost, never had at all? Like, I don't know. Because we could use these online for 4 days. But I just don't get the logic of getting rid of it. I don't understand the logic. And please, if you guys can try to understand what this logic is of giving someone a taste of what it's like to use celebrity cards just to yank it off them. Because even talking like the DFS on the podcast, like DFS is genuinely one of these, like, he is wrongly portrayed as like a 2K shill. He is wrongly portrayed as just a 2K shill. But in reality, this guy just loves the game of 2K. Even he was being like, oh, loads of his friends wanted to play the game because they got Jack Harlow and J. Cole. And then he's really angry that they're no longer online. They're no longer online only. Or they're no longer online usable. That there were players that would be like, oh, it's cool, let me go and get these cards. And now they can't even use them. So I'm like, I don't know if it's worse not having them in the game. I don't know which of these 3 scenarios is worse. Not having them in the game at all, having them in the game but offline only, or having them in the game online usable for 3 days and then having that yanked off us. I don't know which of those 3 is a worse scenario. I think the best of those 3 is not at all. I think not at all is actually the best in terms of like public perception. Maybe not in terms of like hype and stuff, but I think in terms of public perception, not at all, because the guys that are like angry that they're in the game in the first place are happy, I guess, and then the people that like them in the game wouldn't know any different. I think the offline only part, the people that don't want them in the game are going to be angry. The people that do want them in the game are going to be a little bit annoyed, are going to be quite annoyed that they're not usable online. I think the last one, because the people that don't want them in the game are going to be equally as angry no matter what, but the people that wanted them in the game and want celebrities and just want to have fun were super high, and then they've gone from a little bit angry to pitchforks out. So I just think the best course of action, and the only course of action that I can think makes any sort of sense, that I can even make an argument for, is putting these in the game. Is if they're in the game, make them online only, and if you don't want to make them online only, don't put them in the game. Like, I don't understand this. Anyway, crossover series is going to be a series. We're going to see a lot more of these. It is what it is. It is what it is. In terms of daily content, I don't mind if it turns out that it's a case of Monday's moments, Tuesday's glitched, Wednesday is moment challenge for a hot badge, Thursday is crossover series, Friday's content. Look, in terms of daily content, we can't really be annoyed. I think that's a lot better than one big batch of content every month. But at the same time, it's like, maybe it's too much of an effort to give us one moments card a day. But I do think that moments has a lot more potential. And I think sectioning off Monday for moments cards isn't great, in my opinion. In terms of takeover, these takeovers are absolutely worthless. Like, this takeover. Like, the amount of hours needed to get Danny Manning is scandalous. Like, I genuinely thought coming into Season 2, and I actually think it's going to change coming into Season 3. And the reason I'm saying that is I'm gonna try to speak into existence that it'll change. This is a 40-50 hour grind, and very few are going to be doing it. I think it's really cool that it's now, if you do it through agendas, you get a holo version of the card, so people can tell who got the card through RNG and not. I actually think that's a really cool idea. This is the first of the Tuesday cards that I'm like, okay, I kind of get this. It's like a 2 hour grind, but he's actually pretty damn good. The Tuesday cards have been kind of weak. I don't mind the 2 hour grind. Like, I'm probably the one person that's heavily defending this, because most of the community are like hardcore grinders. They're gonna be really annoyed at this because these cards have all been like between 5 to an 8 out of 10 as far as cards go. Kevin Johnson is very comparable to a Derrick Rose, but they're like 5 to an 8 out of 10. Other than like Wiggins might have been like a 9 out of 10 card when he came out, and then Mitchell was a 10 out of 10 card. I think we got Mitchell too early. Like, the game's a marathon, and I do think that they tried to sprint the first mile. And they're kind of bringing it back down to earth. But the problem with no matter what they do with Tuesday takeovers, even Friday takeovers, people just bring up Donovan Mitchell. And I think if Sean Kemp came out right now, people would be angry. But it was just that these cards were some of the best in the game, and now they're kind of stepping away from that. And I like the fact that they're more accessible, but I understand the argument from the other side. I am happy, but again, I don't speak for the community. I'm just giving my opinion. In terms of the glitch set, I just don't know. Like, these evos are a joke. Like, 150 points, 40 steals with a 58 steal. Like, we thought 40 steals with a 58 steal was bad. And that we thought 60, getting blocks with a 60. Like, look, Kelly Olynyk has a 62 rated block, and his evo is get 30 blocks. Georges Niang has a 42 rated block, and his evo is get 10 more blocks. He is like 4 inches shorter, or 3 inches shorter, and has a minus 20 block, and you add an extra 10 blocks to it, to an already difficult evo in Kelly Olynyk. As well as that, the ridiculous Steven Adams evo. The Steven Adams evo with a 25 3 ball and a 43 pointer. You can barely green on semi-pro. Any difficulty above semi-pro with a 25 3, it is physically impossible to green. So you have to play semi-pro modes, and you have to shoot brick after brick after brick. And then once you get cold, by the way, it's impossible to green. So you literally have to chuck shots in a game, hope you make one, and then if you get cold, press start and quit out. Like, that is one of the most ridiculous things we've ever seen. It is one of the most ridiculous things. 50 rebounds, 150 points, 4 blocks in a single game, easy. But a 25 3-pointer with 43 point. I get it. Like, these guys get better at things. It's like Joe Ingles is a 40 dunk. 45 dunk. The guy will not dunk. And you have to make 40 dunks with him. Like, you have to be wide open. Wide open. If there's anyone within 10 feet of him, he's not going to dunk. And even still, he's not going to dunk most of the time. It is just like, I'm just looking at these things where I'm like, when these used to be things, like, if we remember the Dwayne Wade Evo, where he just couldn't dunk, his Evo requirement was like 5 dunks. And we were all going crazy being like, oh man, this 5 dunks is awful. You need 40 to make Joe Ingles from an awful player to a slightly less awful player. Like, if we look at the 2k20 Evos, which is, everyone calls 2k20 hell, but at least when we got 3-point Evos on a dude with a, Bill Russell was 35, he wasn't 25, it was make 10 3-pointers. And this is make 40, and not only that, or say it was make 12, Bill Russell. Not only that, is there was rookie mode options in that game. There is no game mode in this game where there is an option to play on rookie. Mad. Absolutely mad. Like, I don't know what was going through the heads of the people that came up with these stats, but it just wasn't great. But in general, look, I'm not going to call NBA 2k23 MyTEAM a bad mode. I'm going to say it is the least I have enjoyed a 2K in a long time. Because the mode, without question, in terms of the way the game's programmed, in terms of a lot of individual things in the mode, is not built for a player like myself. I don't think that the game mode should be built around to my liking. I can give my opinions, I can give my suggestions. Some of them are, it's clear, some of them are taken on board, some of them are completely ignored. But at the same time, I'm still going to give my opinion. For me, this is my least enjoyable MyTEAM experience because the things that I enjoy doing, I can't really do anymore. Like, if you look at the times where I've really enjoyed playing MyTEAM, Yuta, Hito Leaners, Dean Wade, that's not happening anymore. That's not going to happen anymore. You're not going to be seeing guys cook with one player anymore. You're not going to be seeing too many of these meme cards. Maybe Charlie Villanueva center. Is that the game, even the gameplay, if you're not a hardcore player, it's a struggle. Like, I was talking to Jazz earlier, and he was saying one of his friends picked up the game and was really good in 2K20. And he's 0-5 shooting like 17% from the field. And that's the issue. That's the kind of thing, is like a lot of new players come into this game, they're overwhelmed. They can't shoot, they can't score, they're going to go and quit. And that's the one thing everyone's like, oh, this game mode is going to be really good when the players get better. I actually am not entirely sure about that. My favorite thing about the MyTEAM game mode, and I've said it all the time, is using a variety of cards. I love using new cards almost every week. That is what I've enjoyed most for the last number of years in MyTEAM. I like using new cards. I like trying out new cards. I like the new experiences of using these new cards. However, this year with the way the game is, if you are having a bad shooting day, if you haven't practiced a ton with a card before you're using them, you're going to miss every shot. And I understand the argument of that is a good thing. I understand that argument, being like, nobody should be able to hit all their shots. And it's like, that's not even the argument you're going to make. It's like, if you're using new players, the only real way that you can have success with them is running at the basket. Unless you like perfect a shot. There is the argument that, yeah, you should go and perfect a shot. But I would put forth the other argument of, this is a sports game and not a competitive fighting game. I think the most important thing is this game mode being accessible. And I just feel like, if I'm struggling with the amount of hours I've put into 2K, if I'm if I can't pick up a new player, and I'm not even saying have this ultimate success, because let's be real, everyone's a freaking sweat lord. A lot of players are better than me. Be able to hit a shot. I get it, it's on me, skill-wise, but if we draw the level of, like, get better at someone who used to go 12-0 every day in 2K20, at someone who won 100, 200 and something straight games in 2K21, if that is now the line of this level isn't good enough anymore, then how the hell is any new player supposed to come into 2K and not only, I'm not even going to say compete, but have fun and score? Like Black Friday when it comes out, how is any new player that gets the game on Black Friday meant to score? How is a kid that gets this game meant to come into this game and do anything? I don't see it. I think that MyTEAM has gone a very opposite direction to what I would want from the game. But at the end of the day, I am not the entire fan base. I don't speak for the entire fan base. I can only give my opinions. I don't enjoy this game mode, but there are so many positive things in this game that it's hard for me to write it off and call it a bad game mode. It is an unenjoyable experience for myself. It is really unenjoyable to make content. I'm struggling to even make tier lists because I'm like, okay, point guard tier list. Any point guard that can run and dunk. They all feel the exact same for me because of how I play. My favorite point guard is Pete Maravich. I'm not going to put that dude in S tier. Like, for me, it's even harder to make tier lists because I'm like, I can only judge players based on whether I can green with them or not. But I don't know. The things about this game, when two guys are playing against each other, playing at a slow pace, running plays and stuff, it's all right. It's all right. I'm not going to say it's bad, but there are so many. The game divides opinions The game mode is so divisive for a reason. Because if you're a certain type of player, this is great. If you're a certain type of player, it's not. And I'm not sure when that'll change. And I do think that 2K are bringing in a lot of things to try appeal the more casual fan base. And I really do appreciate that they're doing that. I think that they can do it better, which is why I'll always say it. Like, and again, if these videos are an issue, there's 1,000,000% ways to talk to me behind the scenes, and I can say it there rather than on videos. There are definitely ways of doing that. But no, I'm here to give my opinion. I'm here to talk about the game mode that I've built a career off, that I've freaking bought this house with. And for me, it's just an unenjoyable experience, but I'm not going to go as far as to say this game mode's bad. A lot of people are calling this mode good, this mode bad. I don't like it, but a lot of people love it. It all really depends on what camp you're in. So please leave in the comment section what you guys think about MyTEAM. I think after a month, I came to almost a very similar conclusion. The truth about MyTEAM is that this is a love-hate game mode. This is a Marmite game mode. And my opinion could change throughout the year, which is why I like making these videos every month, so I can give my opinion on the game mode at its present state. We can talk about what's been gone well, what's gone badly. There's been a lot of ups and downs this year. There's been a lot of good things. There's been a lot of bad things. But for me, the game mode just feels different. Maybe it's because I'm older. Maybe it's because I'm burnt out. I don't know. But playing this game just feels like a more daunting task, and it might just be me. Let me know whether you guys like it, whether you guys dislike this game, because an ongoing discussion on this game is the best thing we can have. The best thing for everybody is that we can see differing opinions. Like, this, I'm not 2021 Mick Curley anymore. I'm not going to just rant aimlessly at things. If I like something, I'll talk about it. If I don't like something, I'll talk about it. And I like the fact that I can just talk about the mode on this channel. And that's my... As of right now, when the game mode for me is so painful to play consistently, I think talking about what I like, what I dislike, is something that is an enjoyable type of content. So anyway, as the video, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.